will this work?
So basically, in the Instagram app, you will be able to check out and purchase a product, which is unlike what we've seen before. Previously, they would redirect you to a retailer's website or app where you could complete your purchase. But what this does for Instagram is it gives them another line of revenue beyond advertising, which is going to be extremely significant to their business over the long term.
You wonder just how significant, Bill. How much business and traffic do you think this will drive for PayPal?
Well, this is building on a phenomenon we've seen for a long time of small businesses and other retailers having many new forums in which they're meeting buyers. And we think checkout on Instagram is a really great new experience, and Instagram itself has been a great forum for sellers to meet buyers. And as Sarah was just commenting on, this has been building for a long time in terms of buyers connecting with brands or with sellers there and then linking off to that seller's site. Now they'll complete the purchase right in context on Instagram. We think can help more of this activity happening, but this is something we hear from sellers all the time, that's a very important forum for them. And so we think this is quite an interesting new place for sellers to meet more buyers. So
it's interesting, but how big do you think it can be for you?
Well, if you look at our marketplace and partner business, separate from eBay, who continues to be a partner that we've worked with for a long time, but our top 20 marketplaces that we work with are already $85 billion in volume for us last year alone, and growing at 41% year on year. So that is a very large segment of our business, growing quite rapidly. And so our aspiration is that we want to connect our 30 million plus sellers to all the very best places for them to sell. And I think this is one of the important trends in commerce, is that a decade ago there was one place or a couple places that a seller could go, particularly a smaller seller could go to sell online. Now there's this explosion of new forums that they can go sell, and we want to help connect sellers to all the best places where they can meet buyers. And we think Instagram is quite important in that. And so we're quite excited about Instagram enabling native checkout right inside the Instagram, inside of the stories there. And we're quite excited to be powering some of those capabilities, particularly buyer transactions, as well as the seller side of those transactions as well, and partnering with them to help enable those experiences.
So, Sarah, Facebook's going through a lot of changes. We just talked about some changes to ad targeting around housing and credit ads. Mark Zuckerberg has said the company is going to shift towards more private communications. Lots of questions how that will impact the ad business. How much revenue do you think this will drive, Instagram commerce will drive for the Facebook company?
It's hard to say because it's so early, but what I think is really important to keep in mind is that Facebook's legacy business, the news feed and the advertising that runs in the news feed, is not going to grow much more from here. It's already so saturated in all these big advertising markets around the world. So the company has really been investing in figuring out what their next business models are. And e-commerce is something that executives mentioned on the earnings call as like a very big priority for them for the future, alongside things happening in messaging, which may be harder to monetize. So I think that this is one of the few bright spots they have that is maybe more proven than some of the other things they're trying, like cryptocurrency and encrypted messaging.
So let's talk about the less bright spots. And Bill, Facebook, Instagram are both getting plagued by, hate, misinformation. And you look at many, many Instagram comments. This is a problem on Instagram. Does that concern you about being associated with that?
Well, we've partnered with Facebook across, multiple forums for some time. We have a growing partnership there, and one of the things that we enable is fraud tools, things that enable marketplace and partner operators to go make sure that they're getting buyers that are legitimate buyers, and they're getting sellers that are legitimate sellers. This is something that across all the different forums we enable, we provide buyer and seller protection in those different forums. So separate from how we engage here, across the way we engage with our consumers and merchants, we help consumers shop without sharing sensitive financial information. We help merchants connect to more of these forums. And so, certainly there's a number of things that are being addressed across some of these places, but can this be a great forum for commerce? I think you already see a number of sellers really engaging with buyers there. And so I think certainly it's already a great forum for that. This only makes it better. And we're excited to partner on this. And not only providing tools that help with the purchases coming in and the sales going out, but also how you go combat fraud and these types of things.
One question for you, Bill. Do you think that consumers will have any hesitancy about sharing their credit card number with Facebook through this kind of transaction, or will PayPal prevent that from having to happen?
Well, this is something when you use the PayPal button, broadly, when you use that PayPal button, it's helping you to go complete a purchase without having to go through the friction of adding a card. That said, there are going to be plenty of users that want to go provide a card directly, and we're helping to enable those transactions as well. So users can make those determinations of where they feel comfortable with that, but that's one of the things that we provide is the ability to go check out and not have to go type those things in, which takes friction out of the process in any event. But either way the user wants to do that, we're going to give the user that choice.
You're taking friction out of the process, but I guess to Sarah's point, in light of all of the, more recent privacy concerns around Facebook, do you think users are going to want to share and store their payment information with Instagram today?
I think you see a lot of users really wanting to go connect with sellers and with brands there already. So certainly, making it a place where users feel comfortable doing that is important, and is something that we're working together on. I think it's something that PayPal as a checkout option certainly helps with directly, but I think you see a lot of users already engaging there. So I think the question of do users want to engage in that forum, I think that's already happening. And I think this is something that makes that even better for those users and more seamless for those users.
So Sarah, we mentioned Nike, Revolve. What other retailers are kicking this off?
I think that it's just going to be a very small group for now, but what I'm most excited about is in the future, all of these people that have created their businesses on Instagram based off their followings will be able to build a marketplace there, and that's going to be like uncharted territory.
So we will be able to buy Kylie Jenner's lipstick on Instagram, is that what you're saying?
I think one day we will be, and that these businesses, Glossier today just had a more than $1 billion valuation in their latest round. These businesses that have been built up via Instagram followings will have a more direct way to sell, and maybe we'll be able to see a little bit more into how that works, how big that market is.